Question: what are the mistakes and wrong actions that the Muslims are warned against on the two Eids? We see some actions which we denounce, such as visiting graves after the Eid prayer and staying up to worship on the night of Eid. Answer: praise be to Allah. As Eid is approaching, we would like to point out some things that some people do out of ignorance of the laws of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. These include the following. 1. The belief of some that it is prescribed to spend the night of Eid in worship. Some people believe that it is prescribed to spend the night of Eid in worship. This is a kind of innovation that is not proven from the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Rather, it was narrated in a weak hadith which says, whoever stays up on the night of Eid, his heart will not die on the day when hearts die. This hadith is not sahih. It was narrated via two isnads, one of which is mawdu, fabricated, and the other is da'if jiddan, very weak. See Silsilat al-Hadith al-Da'ifa wal-Mawdu'a by al-Albani, 520-521. It is not prescribed to single out the night of Eid to pray Qiyam to the exclusion of all other nights, unlike the one whose habit it is to pray Qiyam, in which case there is nothing wrong with him praying Qiyam on the night of Eid. 2. Visiting graves on the two Eid days. This is contrary to the purpose of Eid, which is to express joy and happiness, and it goes against the teaching of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and the actions of the Salaf. It comes under the general meaning of the Prophet's prohibition on visiting graves on a specific day and making that like a festival, as the scholars stated. See Ahkam al-Jana'iz wa Bid'ah by al-Albani, p. 219-258. 3. Forsaking the jamaa'ah and sleeping late and missing the prayer. Unfortunately, you see some of the Muslims missing the prayer and forsaking the jamaa'ah. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, the covenant that stands between us and him is the prayer. Whoever forsakes it is a kafir. Narrated by Al-Tirmidhi, 2621, Al-Nasa'i, 463, classed as Sahih by Al-Albani and Sahih Al-Tirmidhi. And he said, the most burdensome prayers for the hypocrites are the Isha and Fajr prayers. If they knew what goodness there is in them, they would come to them even if they had to crawl. I had thought of ordering the call to prayer to be given, then I would tell a man to lead the people in prayer, then I would go, taking some men with me carrying bundles of wood to people who do not attend the prayer, and would burn their houses down around them. Narrated by Muslim, 651. 4. Women mixing with men in the prayer place, the streets and elsewhere, and crowding together with men in those places. This is a source of great fitna, temptation, and serious danger. Both women and men should be warned against that, and the necessary means should be taken to prevent that as much as possible. Men and youth should not leave the prayer place or the mosque until after the women have dispersed completely. 5. Some women going out wearing perfume and makeup and without veils. This is a problem which is widespread, and many people take this matter lightly. Allah is the one whose help we seek. Some women, may Allah guide them, even dress up in their finest clothes and put on the best perfume when they go to the mosque to pray Tarawih or go to the Eid prayers, etc. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, any woman who puts on perfume and passes by people so that they can smell her fragrance is an adulteress. Narrated by Al-Nasa'i, 5126, Al-Tirmidhi, 2783, classed as Hasan by Al-Albani and Sahih Al-Targhib wal-Tarhib, 2019. It was narrated that Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, there are 2 types of the people of hell whom I have not seen. people with whips like the tails of cattle with which they beat the people, and women who are clothed yet naked, going astray and leading others astray, with their heads looking like the humps of camels, leaning to one side. They will not enter paradise nor even smell its fragrance, although its fragrance may be detected from such and such a distance. Narrated by Muslim 2128. The guardians of women must fear Allah with regard to those who are under their care and fulfill the duty of protecting and maintaining that Allah has enjoined upon them, because men are the protectors and maintainers of women, because Allah has made one of them to excel the other. Al-Nisa 434. Interpretation of the meaning. So they must guide him and show them that which will lead to the salvation and the safety in this world and in the hereafter, by means of keeping away from that which Allah has forbidden and striving for that which will bring them closer to Allah. 6. Listening to singing and haram things. Among the evil things that are widespread in these times is music and singing. They have become very widespread and people take this matter lightly. It is on TV and radio, in cars, homes and marketplaces. There is no power and no strength except with Allah. Even cell phones are not free of this evil. There are companies which compete in putting the latest music on the ringers of the cell phones, and in this way music has even reached the mosques. May Allah protect us. This is a great problem and a great evil whereby music is heard in the houses of Allah. This confirms the words of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. There will be among my ummah people who will regard adultery, silk, alcohol and musical instruments as permissible. Narrated by Al-Bukhari. The Muslim has to fear Allah and realize that the blessing of Allah means that he is obliged to give thanks to him. It is not gratitude for the Muslim to disobey his Lord when he is the one who has bestowed this blessing upon him. One of the righteous passed by some people who were engaged in idle entertainment on the day of Eid and said to them, "If you did well in Ramadan, this is not the way to give thanks for that. If you did badly in Ramadan, this is not the way that the one who did badly should behave. And Allah knows best."